Silas is, he calls himself the enemy of the ordinary. That's what he calls himself. He's, what's up? You know how they ask you to describe yourself there? He says the enemy of the ordinary. And I've come to realize that that is actually very true about him. He's self-driven and he loves data. He can tell you stories about research that you never knew you didn't know. And his love for research has helped us to see how it can help our own businesses. He says it doesn't have to be very difficult to analyze data. Even just looking at how you've woken up this past week is data. It doesn't have to be these things on Excel. That everything you do tells a story. And that's what research and data is about.
From the moment he plugged in, he's quite sociable. He's quite outgoing. He's quite plugs into the village. If you saw him in the village today, you do not know that he's one of the new people, because right from the moment he got in, he got knowing people, he got bringing people together. He's always very generous, with referring people to customers and opening doors for everyone. I think he comes from a perspective that everyone must, succeed together.
I've been born and bred in Nairobi all through my life. I was born in an estate called Makongeni Estate. I don't know if you know Makongeni Estate. It's the next estate to Kaloleni, Shaurimoyo, so that's Eastlands to a larger extent. I went to school within the environment, which was Kaloleni Primary School. Finished, still went within Eastlands of Jericho High School. Finished, went to Kenyatta University, did my bachelor's, then transitioned to UN to do my master's in project planning and management. So my life has been shaped by where I come from, because if you know about Eastlands and the stories that go on there, it will actually just give you a perspective of what we were kind of dealing with when you were coming up. Some of us grew up in 10 by 10 units of houses, whereby your bedroom and your kitchen is demarcated by curtains. You know those houses. So I think many can relate with that. So you'll have a house on average, you'll have like 4 kids, all of them within the same environment with their parents, and sometimes relatives from home. So it gives you a picture of the kind of environment we used to we grew up in. So the school I went to, of Jericho, was very well renowned for football by that time. They were actually the national champions. It wasn't my intention to get into football in high school. I went to school. I swore that I was going to school to read and get out. But I remember in Form 2, one of the teachers who was our disciplinarian is called Mr. Makumi. If he's watching this, he knows. So one day he heard that when I go back home on the weekends in the estate, I play football quite well. But when I'm in school, I'm not even involved with school team and everything. So one day he called and someone said, I want to see Silas Omenda. Go and call him for me. I was actually taken to him and he asked me, why are you not playing school football? I'm like, I'm not interested. Tomorrow I want to see you on the field. He was a disciplinarian. I think also that was my turning point, because I eventually ended up being one of the best strikers in Nairobi schools by that time. In my year, actually, I was the top scorer in all provincial ball games in Nairobi. So he actually helped me to tap into my talent, and immediately after that, teams like AFC Leopards came to do those scouting. They watched me playing against Tare. They told me to sign up. So immediately after high school, I started getting involved with soccer. So when I transitioned to education, I think that's perhaps was my turning point to where I am today. The common mistakes that businesses do is you operate your business account as your own personal account in terms of finances, right? So as you know, you have an account you've opened for a business, and you have your own personal account. But when money comes for business, it comes to your business account. But you use it to do your own personal things. It's a very unconscious thing. So like, after all, see, it's my account. You know, there's that one. Secondly, lack of understanding the environment they are in. So for example, I've dealt with businesses whereby they had a very good idea at the onset, only to realize that there's so many people who are doing similar things, right? Then you see margins are not coming through, then you're asking yourself, why are they not coming through? So for them to navigate around how to become competitive in that space, it's a challenge. So that's why our expertise come in place, so we advise. By the way, you don't essentially have to do this, you can do it differently. The other challenge I've seen is in terms of finances. Lack of finances for businesses to operate is a big, big issue. And banks are not ready to lend to businesses without collateral. I think that's one of the conversations that currently is happening around how do you lend to businesses, yeah, without tying a collateral to them. One of the things that, there's one report I recommended to a client about doing a de-risking, framework for a business. It was a financial institution. So as opposed to tying a collateral, whether it's a logbook or whatever, we usually call it a title deed, just look at my M-Pesa statements. I run business, money comes in. Most of us run our businesses on M-Pesa platform. So there's a record of transaction, right? So you use that, then make a decision on whether you can lend me or not. Check on my Fuliza balance, whether I pay my Fuliza. Is it Fuliza or, yeah, Fuliza, right? Whether I pay, So most financial institutions are yet to use that as a way of extending credit to businesses. And businesses are suffering because of that, right? Because most of the businesses, and especially within the SMB space, it is heavily a liquid-driven, cash-driven space. So things like check, to a large extent, it's a conversation that is very hard to have. People want money exchange for value. But also, the other challenge you'll find is that when you don't even know what your competitor is doing. And one of the things that especially Divergent deliberately does is to always tell clients, always get feedback. Yeah, after you offer a service, get feedback. Whether it is bad feedback or good, you just get that feedback. That feedback will actually give you an understanding of perhaps what your competitor is doing to a large extent. Because customers always they compare. So by the time I'm telling you, hey, by the way, so you just do this, I'm already comparing to someone that is out there. That if you don't do, it's like a warning, I'm telling you, if you don't do what I'm advising, I'll leave you, go to consume from somebody else. But you can't know that if you don't collect feedback. So what I tell businesses, always collect feedback. It's very important. The other thing is in terms of people get fatigued, Most SMEs don't know when they're tired. Sometimes fatigue can mess you. You find yourself not operating at an optimal. So businesses, sometimes you tell them, you need to know when to rest. You need to understand that there's a rest period. And we always emphasize, always take some time to just go somewhere and detox and rejuvenate and then come back and run your business. Well, Kenya is a tough market for startups. It's a very tough market. Point number one, have money. Put savings aside when you start biashara. Have money set aside. Because bootstrapping can kill you, literally. You will either mess your family relationship, you will mess your friendship relationship, You'll even mess your marriage if you're married. You'll mess your boyfriend because you're always borrowing to run your business. Set money aside. Ideas are very good to have, but have money to back those ideas, right? Then they need to have an open mind around failure, because the danger we have, and I think that's why we at Sandbox, we even launched a program called Kisima. Kisima is actually designed to help people understand that running a business is not because I have money and I have an idea and I know I can go out there, have an office, then put my laptop, put my desk. You see those people, yeah, put a desk. Running a business is about relationships. Yeah, it's a social network capital. So we have a program here at Sandbox called Kisima. We launched just the other day. It's designed to train those people that when you're exiting from a work environment, Kisima program takes you through the basics, the fundamentals of what you need to arm yourself with. Yeah, and it provides you that platform for you to learn. And the reason why this is a village, every expert, is plugged into your learning as an SME or as a startup to enable you have an easy way out. Not easy literally, but to avoid mistakes that most of us have gone through. The reason why we are experts is that we have gone through so many mistakes, and we're still going through. But we have learned over time, and the reason why we can be able to come up with those kind of products to help the markets too, or rather to help startups, to understand the journey of getting into entrepreneurship. It's not easy, and especially in this market, it's not easy. Kisima is a very interesting program. So it has different cohorts. So you're looking at guys who have matured, for example, people who are in the C-suite in an organization. Yeah, those are people that have the assumption is they have a lot of knowledge around the craft they trade in. And because of the experience and because they've been there, they've quite saved substantially. So you're not telling them something they don't know, especially within the space they're in. But there are those fundamentals that they don't know, that we as experts are able to provide them. So for example, do they even know the implications of not filing tax returns in time, right? Do they know the implication of them not, putting, the correct structures in their organization? Do they know they need a board? Yeah, those are things that when in the environment they operate, yes, they see, but when it comes to them implementing them as their own business, most of them actually fail. So Kisima is actually solving that problem. Why do people do side hustles? Because the mind of any employee today, the end goal is to become an entrepreneur, right? So we are offering that platform that as you're thinking about your entrepreneurship journey, we have a program that you can start plugging in to be able to help you to transition. Then we have these young guys, so it has been segmented into three. So you have these young guys who are in campus, but they have very entrepreneurial mindset. Perhaps they don't want to transition directly to employment. They're looking for environments whereby they can be trained to thrive in whatever they're doing. And they're there. If you went to campus, the guys who used to run tuck shops, those are entrepreneurships, yeah? People who used to sell smokies in their rooms, people who used to for chicks, I used to see there was just a lady who used to do manicure for, those are entrepreneurs. But when they finish campus, right, yeah, the mindset is always, I need to get employed first. So Kisima here is helping them. Okay, fine. Even as you're looking for employment, there's this we can offer you as a training to enhance and to build you into a good entrepreneur. So that's what Kisima is in a nutshell.
One of the things we say here, because we call it a village, and so if we go back to the concept of a village, we say that it takes a village to raise a child. So here we say it takes a village to build a business, to grow a business. I used to run another consulting company, and in that consulting company, we used to collaborate with many other professionals. And so at some point, we had been working together for such a long time that we asked ourselves, if we are really working together on the same customers, why be in different locations? And so that's what gave us the idea to be a one-stop shop under one roof. So the previous company I was working with actually started in 2004. So it's been a long period. And Sandbox started in 2020. So that entire period we were putting together different building blocks that eventually led us to deciding on the one-stop shop. And then eventually we were able to raise some money that enabled us then to invest in the space and to bring all these experts together under one roof.
How I ended up at the Sandbox is that first I've known Joram for a long time, almost 14, 15 years I've known Joram. And in one of the companies that I was running before, he came and he did an assessment of that company. And at that time, it was just starting out. It was about finding the health of businesses in Kenya and what the outlook for their sustainability or long-term sustainability was like. So that's when I first met Joram. Over the years, I sort of went on, I built my own business, ran it. It was doing business process outsourcing for European and American companies. And that was running quite well. But during 2020, as things changed and people started to work from home and couldn't really actually go to places and so on, Joram had opened up the Sandbox about a year before that, in 2020, and he approached me and asked me if I would be interested in participating in a community of experts that was geared primarily to medium, micro, small, and medium enterprises. And I jumped at the opportunity because in the businesses that I'd been doing before that time, in the business process outsourcing businesses that I'd been doing, a lot of that output was for European and American companies. And I was always concerned how we are only producing for that market. So if that skill set existed here in this country, then we needed to be able to expose local enterprise, local business to that level of expertise. And so when he invited me to join the Sandbox, I was very excited because it gave me an opportunity to work with startups.
We generally, look for people who are passionate about working with indigenous businesses, people who are passionate about helping local entrepreneurs grow. We look for people who are good at what they do and willing to commit to the different standards we have here at Sandbox, willing to be transparent, honest in how they do their dealings. And then, there are many other criteria we look at because we do our background, checks on the different people that we have. And then if you pass, the different tests, then we're able to bring you on board and integrate you into the rest of the community of experts.
As much as you're pursuing your dream, as much as you're pursuing your what you want to do in your life here, get someone to mentor you. And this kind of an ecosystem is sort of a mentorship program. Yeah, like I've mentioned, Kisima is one. It's a sort of a mentorship program. Don't assume you know everything. No one has a monopoly of knowledge. Yeah, you might have money, you might have a whole clan backing you to run business. You've seen startups that have raised even 100 million Kenyan shillings closing down. Why? Because sometimes it's not about money. It's about having the correct people to take you through a journey of entrepreneurship. And that's why Sandbox exists, because it provides you with all those nuggets that you need as a business to thrive.
Silas is a very intentional person. He doesn't wait for things to happen. So he approached me and said, hey, what do you do? And within a month, we were able to think about something we can build together. So from that perspective, I've found that Silas is very intentional. And then interestingly enough, just by having conversations with each other, we found we have a lot of mutual friends. So that also helped to, you know, for our relationship to grow a little bit better, because now we know the same people, we have sort of the same likes and things. In fact, in the beginning, before I was fully grown, people thought we looked alike. So a couple of people would mistake us for each other. And but in the end, he's a cool guy. He's intentional. He follows through with things, and it makes it nice and easy to work with him.
Particularly African Kenyan SMEs, where we help them to grow and get better structured as businesses. And to do that, we've brought together about 33 different experts who are the ones who help these businesses to grow. So when I say experts, it's you know, different fields like legal, HR, marketing, finance, and also things like research, which is, you know, where Silas comes in as one of our experts. He has great potential. I think we've just come out of an election year in Kenya, and you know, business tends to slow down and can get quite difficult, and it has been for all of us here. But just to encourage him and say, you know, the future is bright with the things that he's putting together and the innovations he's coming up with. I think he will get to a place where his brand will probably be one of the leading ones in this continent and this world.
I want to encourage Silas to dream big. I mean, being at the Sandbox is one thing. His business model is actually for Africa. It can work for any SME across any part of Africa. And I'm so encouraged with his just ability to help businesses to grow using research and data, which gives them what are the trends that are in their field and how can they use that to their benefit. So I want to tell him to aim for the stars. Africa is waiting for heroes like Silas, the enemy of the ordinary.
One person I'll really, truly thank, and especially in my journey of carrying Divergent, is one Joram. Joram is one very patient and very understanding individual, human being. He has passion for SMEs. I'm an SME, and he has everything, or rather he has been through the journey and he understands the challenges we go through. And it's an easier conversation to have with him when you're talking about your challenges. So I thank him because he's provided this kind of an ecosystem, right, that enables us to thrive, enables us to make mistakes, enables us to learn and relearn, reskill, yeah, and also to network and expose our businesses to the outside market.